Saturday is a huge night of racing at the Meadowlands racetrack. It's July 13th. There's 14 races on the card, 11 stakes races, lots of great guaranteed wagers, a $50,000 guaranteed pick four early in the card, and then a $100,000 guaranteed late pick four. Well, it's actually the middle pick four because they added a late one. It's races 8 through 11. And for the entire card, we have a 7% rebate on all wagers via DRF bets and free harness IPPs. 7% rebate, Matt. That's a great deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody loves free money. Get paid, basically get paid to play, and you lose a little, you can get some money back. You win, you can tack onto it. Yeah, good times at DRF bets.
Well, the sequence for the $100,000 guaranteed pick four starts in race number 8. We're going to try to breeze through it and give you out some winners here. Let's take a look at the Stanley Dancer, which is the first leg. It's $135,000 on the line, and the morning line will have you believe that this is a 2-horse race, Matt, between TCI and Highland Kismet.
It pretty much is, with maybe the Okie sponsor trainee situationship with an upset possibility, but we know about TCI with his battles with Carl last year as a 2-year-old. Highland Kismet, nobody heard of him. He came out of nowhere, and he's been like a seasoned pro. So, yeah, I mean, it depends if you're worried about TCI with that break last out of his wide and the kind of perception that he hasn't come back as strong as he was as a 2-year-old. But he's gonna find his way to the winner's circle in a major stake. It's only a matter of time. And I think he's got as good a shot as Highland Kismet. I'm not going to be cute and try to key one of them. I'm going to use the 2 chalks and assume I'll get by, and then try to strike with prices later on.
I'm going to look at it a little bit different way. I'm using Highland Kismet on my ticket. I think he's 100% the horse to beat. I think he's going to be 4 to 5 in here. So I actually think he's going to go up the favorite. But I'm going to use situationship on my ticket because I see him as a horse that's a little bit better on the big track. Yonkers' trot effort was good, even though he made a break. Here I think he's going to go right to the front here. He's going to have a chance to control the race, depending on what some of the other horses do. And I think he's going to be in a prime position to do well at a good price. And that's why I think he belongs on the ticket. I think Caballero is another interesting horse here. You got 10 to 1 in the morning line. He had some traffic trouble last time, finished up willingly. I don't know if he's there yet, but we all have to remember that these horses, they all have their eyes on a prize a couple of weeks down the road, Matt.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, the Hamiltonian is coming up, but the Stanley Dancer is certainly no slouch on the stake schedule. It is a $135,000 race, and it's considered the big prep for the Hamiltonian. I don't see them going, half speed or anything like that, but I think it's taken seriously because you want to be as tight as possible going into the August Hamiltonian.
We're going to move on to race number 9. That is the Hamiltonian Maturity. You see there, full field of 12, and they're going 1 1/8, so that's worth noting. So a little bit longer run into the first turn might give the horses in posts 7, 8, 9, and 10 a little bit better shot of going to the front, Matt.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. You often see maybe couple inside horses get away mid-pack, which obviously compromises the second-tier horses. So, you got middle of the pack. You got Hasty Bid with Yannick, Special Way. Certainly, the 10 with can fire off the gate looking for some sort of position. I personally, I think Special Way is I think it's a perfect post from post 7 for Tim Tidrick to be able to do whatever he wants in terms of making his way to the front or being close up. And I just think he's going to be the beneficiary of the best trip in here.
Yeah, that very well might happen. I really wish Special Way would have won last week. It would have been, pretty good for me at 11 to 1. But
yes, I heard.
But this week, if we can get 3 to 1 or 4 to 1, which we may in this spot, I think Tim Tetrick has to leave. I think there's going to be new tactics here. Other horses I'm using on my ticket, I'm reluctantly using winner's bet from the second tier. I don't really love post 11 for a horse that, you really have no options. You're stuck in because you have another horse to your outside. You have 2 horses in front of you. There's really nowhere to go. You're really a victim of what the horses in front of you up your day and call me goo do, starting from the second tier. I'm using him because he's the best horse, but not because I like the spot. The horse that I kind of like a lot is French Wine, who's 6-1 on the morning line. We've seen this horse, put in some really big races in the past. At least from that second tier spot, he could start from behind anyone. So he can lead behind a horse like number 5, Hasty Bid, who's probably going to lead the gate here.
Just to add on, I believe this race has the horses have no Lasix, and winners bets races on Lasix. So there's always that kind of concern. I don't know if I've ever really factored into my handicapping, but that, and combined with the second tier starting spot, are a couple of the reasons why I actually didn't use winners bet. I did use, obviously, Special Way, Hasty Bid. You say Yannick might be going forward. I think he's 100% going forward. It's just a matter if he gets box shuffled, jammed in. It is a bulky field. It figures to be the flow figures to be moving throughout. I also used the 2 Call Me Goo. We saw a big effort up in Mohawk last month. He might be a victim of the inside post and the long run at the first turn and the shuffle, but I think he's capable. And if Andy McCarthy can somehow, work out some sort of trip, we saw him charge home up in the Armbo Flight at Mohawk, and maybe he can get lucky and do it again. So I'll throw him in there at 10-1 morning line.
Well, I certainly applaud you for, throwing out the morning line favorite winners bet because you don't like him, whereas I said I didn't like him and I used him. So maybe I'm wrong in this case. It'd be a rare time where I'm admitting to you that maybe I made a mistake here.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm shocked, but I don't know if I can continue now, but let's try.
Race number 10 is the Williamton Memorial. It's the second richest race on the card. 428,000, 11 horses go behind the gate. This really is a great race on paper, Matt.
Oh yeah, I mean, it always is. And this time of year, when you get the age horses and kind of figure out who belongs, who doesn't belong, I think we're still in that finding out phase. So yeah, and there's some 4-year-olds in here. Which facing older horses always puts a little twist into it. We have another race with the trailer. That horse is going to be unlike the prior race. That horse will probably be a long shot. But I kind of went 3 deep here. I'm interested in the 7. It's My Show. Yeah, it's a 4-year-old. Yeah, he hasn't come back as strong as in his 3-year-old season, but I kind of like the forward progression in his last couple of starts at the Meadowlands, even though they didn't result in wins. And you got to figure Scott Zeron's leaving the gates. Maybe he can sit close up, which, never a bad thing, and get lucky.
You know what? I really don't mind It's My Show as a top pick here. I ended up picking him 4th in my overall analysis and didn't use him on my ticket, but I loved his race 2 back. I wasn't crazy about his race last time. So I'm really, I don't know. I just decided not to use him. I'm going with Alleyway Hanover as my top pick. I think this is a horse that's proven that he races himself into shape every single year. He has a few starts under his belt now. I don't know that we could have expected that much from him last time in the Brower, having missed almost a month of action. Now he's back in a couple of weeks. He should be sharper. Charlie May just absolutely loves this track. I mean, he's got 10 starts here. I think he's got 4 wins in 4 seconds, and that doesn't even include the race he got DQ'd from when he won the Meadowlands Pace, and ended up getting DQ'd for, interference. And I used Bucephalus on my ticket, who, stepped up in the Graduate with a big race, and maybe we're ready to see this 4-year-old, shine. He's always shown that he has ability.
Yeah, we saw him as one of the top 3-year-olds early in the season, and then kind of, I guess you say, tailed off a little bit. But yeah, he's coming into this race Rager sharp. A Bucket Bet Hanover is coming into this race sharp. And like you mentioned, Charlie May, I've never been in love with this horse, but then he keeps showing up at big prices, so especially at the Meadowlands. So I'm going to include him also. Hope he's able to get a smooth trip. But yeah, I mean, I took It's My Show as a price, Bucket Bet Hanover, and like I said, Charlie May. I did not use Alleyway Hanover. I know he's talented. I know he might end up being the best, but I didn't use him for this race.
Yeah, I actually, this is the race where I went against the favorite, and I didn't use a bucket bet at all on my ticket because I felt like this was a pretty wide open race, and I didn't want to take the favorite. A horse that maybe is worth consideration at least is Ruthless Hanover at 10-1. He's firing to the front. I mean, isn't it possible he could just go down the road and go 146?
Yeah, and you know what? He'll probably be ignored in the wagering. Yeah, I mean, the problem is people are going to see his tiring efforts last start in the Brower Memorial and then a 10-hole. So, yeah, he's going forward. But like you said, would I be surprised? Would anybody be surprised if he just went to the front or yielded us out of pocket, which I don't think he can do possibly if he's wound up on the front? I didn't use him, but it wouldn't shock me. But I, along with probably a lot of the betting public, is going to kind of look at a couple negatives and, kind of ignore them.
Well, let's move on to race number 11. That's the $650,000 Meadowlands Pace with a field of 10 and another absolutely great wagering race on the card. I think most people would think that Nijinsky is going to be the favorite. He's the morning line favorite at 2-1. I'm thinking he's going to be about 4-5. I did another whole video on the Meadowlands Pace with Jay Bergman that people can check out. So I'll be brief on what I think here and throw it to Matt. And what do you think, Matt?
I wish I knew what to think. I historically have never been, I've never guessed right. I've never been good in the Meadowlands Pace, at least from a wagering standpoint. But yeah, you know what? You said Nijinsky might be 4-5 or odds on, but or even money, something like that. But he's not a standout, at least on paper. He's not like an overwhelming choice, which makes this race interesting. And it's going to come down to a live trip. We saw legendary Hanover win his elimination after, with the legendary sprint coming home. And after a rough trip in the North America Cup, and maybe his fortunes get changed and he gets a good trip in the Meadowlands Pace. So yeah, there's like 5, 6, 7 ways you could legitimately go. I'm gonna zero in on the 2 Canadian Anthony Beaton trainees with Louis Waugh and James McDonald, looking to break the Canadian driver jinx in the Meadowlands Pace. I know they're gonna end up being close to the 2 choices, but in a race where I honestly have trouble figuring out how it's going to go, I just think these are the 2 top ones going in right now.
I ended up going 4 deep in this race with Nijinsky, the 3. I'm trying Mirage Hanover, who I really think might be able to get lucky and end up with a cover or a third over trip. And we've seen he can sprint home in 24 and change. He's done it before. Captain Albano, who I've liked all season, just the trips haven't worked out. We're going to get a really nice price on this horse, who I think is just as good as any. And Captain's Quarters, who I think is uber talented. It's just going to come down to trip. Can he get a trip here? That's why I don't have Funtime Bayama on my ticket here. I think low price, and I see him either being first over or being the first to move to the lead with a lot of other horses coming at him.
Right. Yeah, Captain's Quarters. That was a great effort, although he got run over in the North America Cup. He's obviously a legit talent, arguably as good as any of these. Another more Canadian connections. But yeah, the 9-hole is going to make it tough, and it's going to ensure you get a price on a horse that arguably would be one of the favorites if drawn better. Now you're going to get middle of the pack type price. Like I said, I ended up going with the 2 beaten trainees, the Nijinsky and Legendary Hanover. Legendary Hanover is my top choice. I thought Captain Luke was a big price last week in the elimination. Fired to the lead, got shuffled basically to last, and then finished pretty well. So he might be one of those long shots that's firing to the front and can hang around for a piece. That wouldn't surprise me. Did not use him on top, though, but maybe underneath. That's a horse I'm looking at as a price.
Well, why don't we take a look at our tickets here? We'll put up the first of the pick 4 tickets on the screen, and we'll see that I put up a $36 play. Maybe if you want to take winner's bet out of there, you can make it a little cheaper and get it down to 24 for those who wanted to. Matt spent less money than me, as usual, right?
As usual. I don't know. We've never actually done a study on that, have we? But yeah, I scaled it down. I went 2 by 3 by 3 by 2 in my pick 4 tickets. that is $18. A lot of repeating numbers, I guess you could say here. 2 and the 5 with 257 with 257 with the 3 and the 6 for $18 for 50 cents.
Yeah, when I first saw Matt's ticket, I thought it was a mistake. I wanted to say price is okay or something like that, you know, like they do when the show price plays more than the place. It's a really great card. 14 races on the card, post time 6:20. Don't forget to take advantage of the DRF Bets promo, 7% rebate. Also get some free harness IPPs. Just look at the QR code on your screen. You'll get there. Everyone, enjoy Meadowlands Pace Night.